Fox News abruptly went dark while trying to defend Donald Trump's policies. Representative Greg Casar strongly countered their arguments. He warned that these policies are destroying America. If politicians choose to serve billionaires instead of the people, they should lose their jobs in the people's house. Imagine this. Social Security offices in rural areas are shut down. The elderly, the disabled, and the most vulnerable are forced to visit these closed offices to verify their information. If they can't, Donald Trump will label them as frauds and cut off their benefits. It's a cruel campaign. Those who need help the most are abandoned. This policy directly targets the poor and vulnerable, those who cannot defend themselves. Meanwhile, Elon Musk calls Social Security a Ponzi scheme. Billions are being stripped from Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. Yet Donald Trump continues funneling billions of federal dollars into Musk's pockets through government contracts. Musk makes $8 million per day from taxpayer money. Your money. Instead of cutting Medicaid, which helps single moms and people with disabilities, why aren't they looking at corporate wealth? The reason is simple. These corporations hold power. Musk isn't just getting government contracts. He's negotiating even larger deals with the FAA, the State Department, and Starlink. And this is happening right after he helped fund Trump's re-election campaign. This isn't about politics. This is oligarchic corruption. Your tax dollars aren't just helping the poor. They're helping billionaires buy more private jets and grow even richer. Trump's policies don't just harm the poor. His immigration policies are inhumane. Hundreds of immigrants, including women, LGBTQ individuals, and asylum seekers, were kidnapped and sent to detention camps in El Salvador. A place completely unfit to house them. Former Attorney General Pam Bondi dehumanized them. She called them garbage. On live television, she claimed, "These are not immigrants. They are illegal aliens committing violent crimes." She painted them as murderers and rapists. This isn't just racist. It's heartless. It goes against the humanitarian values America claims to stand for. Representative Greg Casar refused to stay silent. He exposed the truth, right on Fox News. He stated,
who represents
"Violence
parts
is wrong,
of Austin, spoke
and those
about
who
the
commit it
change
should be
he
held
hoped
accountable.
to see.
But
Today,
millions of
Congressman Greg
Americans are
Casar
now
was at UT's
speaking out
LBJ
against their
School of Public
healthcare being
Affairs to
taken
talk
away, against their taxpayer money being handed to billionaires through federal contracts." Casar is one of the few politicians willing to speak against billionaire manipulation. He fights to protect Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. He demands an end to billionaire privileges. Power must return to the workers. Everyday people are being disrespected while billionaires enjoy endless advantages. Trump's policies aren't just hurting one group. They're reshaping society in dangerous ways. Protecting welfare programs and ensuring fairness in public resources should be a priority. The political landscape is shifting. Finding a balance between social classes is a major challenge. Stay tuned. We need to talk about how to improve these policies and ensure no one is left behind. Trade tensions between the U.S. and Canada have reached an all-time high. The U.S. imposed record-high tariffs, and Canada responded with force. But here's the real problem. Canada holds a strategic advantage that could severely impact the U.S. economy. What is it? Energy. Few realize that Canada is the largest supplier of crude oil to the U.S. Most of it comes from Alberta's oil sands. Midwestern refineries are specifically designed to process it. Canadian crude, not oil from Russia or the Middle East. Beyond oil, Canada is the second largest supplier of natural gas to the U.S. with an extensive pipeline network. Canada's energy exports have been the lifeline of American industries for decades. But what if Canada tightens its supply in response to U.S. tariffs? The economic consequences could be severe. Canada isn't just leveraging energy. It has a calculated tariff retaliation strategy. Phase 1, a 25% tariff on $30 billion worth of U.S. goods, mainly targeting essential consumer products like food, clothing, and household items. This directly affects everyday American life, increasing pressure on businesses and policymakers. Phase 2, an even harsher blow, with $125 billion in U.S. goods facing tariffs. This time, Canada is striking core American industries, including automobiles with higher tariffs on cars, parts, and electric vehicles, steel and aluminum, disrupting industrial supply chains, and agriculture, causing major losses in key U.S. farming states. These measures could destabilize entire sectors while U.S. consumers brace for rising prices. One of the hardest hit sectors is the automotive industry. For decades, the US and Canada have operated an integrated supply chain where key auto components, EV batteries, sensors, frames, and engines, are produced across both countries. Disrupting this flow means skyrocketing production costs for American automakers. Experts predict vehicle prices could rise by thousands of dollars, directly impacting US consumers. EVs are particularly vulnerable, as essential materials like nickel, lithium, and cobalt, crucial for batteries, are sourced from Canada. Even more concerning, Canada has hinted at turning to new partners such as Europe, China, or South Korea for auto and EV trade. If this happens, the US risks losing its position as a global leader in the EV industry. Will the US accept these economic losses just to maintain its tariffs? Surprisingly, the Canadian public is not backing down from this trade tension. Unlike before, this time Canadians overwhelmingly support the government's tough response. Recent surveys show that over 70% of Canadians approve of the retaliatory measures, reflecting a strong sentiment. If we are attacked, we will fight back. The Canadian government is not alone in this battle. Canadian industries are actively seeking new markets in Europe and Asia to reduce dependence on the US. Some Canadian politicians have even called for stronger cooperation with the European Union and Asia-Pacific nations to counterbalance US pressure. If Canada shifts its economic partnerships, the US could lose one of its most crucial trade allies. Politically, this marks a turning point. Canadian leaders are no longer positioning themselves as passive trade partners. Instead, they are openly discussing closer ties with Europe, Asia, and other economic blocs to counterbalance U.S. influence. This could redefine North America's economic landscape, potentially reducing the U.S.'s dominance in regional trade. At the beginning of 2025, Tesla's sales in Germany plunged by 76% in just 2 months, while the entire EV market in Germany grew by over 30%. Then, an even bigger shock emerged. A nationwide survey showed that 94% of Germans had no interest in buying a Tesla. It wasn't just a slowdown, it was outright rejection. Tesla isn't just losing market share, it's losing public trust. And in Europe, trust is a matter of survival. Labor disputes, anti-UN policies, and Elon Musk's unpredictable leadership style aren't just bad news, they're directly influencing consumer decisions. Several major pension funds in Denmark withdrew all investment from Tesla due to ethical concerns. Institutional investors managing billions of dollars are pulling out, and when the investment community turns away, so do consumers. For many years, Elon Musk was Tesla's greatest asset. But now, he might be its greatest liability. Musk's public support for the AfD party in Germany sparked controversy. In Europe, EVs are not just about technology. They represent progress, sustainability, and fairness. When Tesla's CEO aligns with divisive politics, buyers pay attention. Tesla is no longer just a product, it's also the image of the person behind it. And for many European consumers, that's a reason to say no. Another issue is Tesla's labor policies in Sweden. The company refused to sign a collective bargaining agreement, resulting in widespread strikes. Not just in Sweden but throughout the Nordic region. Unions in Denmark continue to block Tesla deliveries, escalating tensions. In Europe, labor rights are a core cultural value. Tesla's opposition to unions is seen as a disregard for workers' rights. European consumers are now asking themselves, do they want to support a company that refuses to adapt to local labor standards? A bitter irony, Tesla was built on the foundation of sustainable development. But Elon Musk is now questioning climate policy just as the EU tightens green regulations. The European Union is pushing for stricter emissions laws, while Musk is downplaying the urgency of climate action. Can an EV company survive while opposing the very policies that helped it grow? This contradiction doesn't just create confusion, it severely damages Tesla's credibility. Meanwhile, Tesla's European competitors, Volkswagen, BMW, Renault, are surging ahead. They're not just catching up, they are winning. They don't just sell electric cars, they align with European values, hire local workers, comply with union laws, and commit to sustainable development. Most importantly, they understand their customers. Tesla still has advanced technology, but technology cannot replace trust. Beyond politics and policy, something else is happening. Tesla is no longer new. The excitement has gradually faded. For many, Elon Musk's constant media presence has become exhausting. Owning a Tesla used to be a statement. Now, it's a question mark. Does this brand still represent the future, or is it being replaced by companies that better understand European consumers? Tesla is at a crossroads. Governments are watching. Investors are skeptical. Consumers are walking away. The question is no longer, how much will Tesla grow in Europe? But rather, can Tesla even survive? In just 24 hours, over 5 million views, 350,000 social media mentions, and thousands of comments exploded across the internet, not from the White House, but from a Hollywood legend, Robert De Niro. With a cold and cutting tone, Robert De Niro didn't hold back. He called Donald Trump, the leader of the MAGA movement, a liar and a fraud. His blunt criticism pointed to campaign promises like the border wall and the booming economy as political gimmicks meant to fool voters. It struck a nerve with millions of Americans. According to Pew Research projections from late 2024, 62% of Americans believe their leaders acted in self-interest over public good. De Niro's directness tapped into a growing sense of betrayal, and social media amplified that collective frustration. De Niro didn't speak in abstract terms, he got specific. Referring to Trump's attempt to reverse the 2020 election results, he warned that American democracy, once a beacon of freedom, is being actively undermined. Freedom House's projected 2024 report placed the U.S. at just 83 out of 100 in democratic freedom, a drop from previous years. It's a clear sign of intensifying polarization. De Niro's message wasn't just commentary. It was a call to action from someone who's watched American history unfold for decades. Trump openly refused to commit to a peaceful transition in 2020, and that memory still haunts American institutions. A Brookings Institute projection shows 45% of Republican voters support extending Trump's time in power, while only 27% believe he would accept a future election loss. This uncertainty threatens not just domestic stability, but the global economy, which depends on U.S. democratic stability. De Niro's words went viral, 350,000 mentions in 12 hours, with 62% of them positive, led by independent voters. News outlets and Gen Z memes kept the conversation alive. This is celebrity accountability. De Niro didn't need Congress, he sparked a national conversation. The question now is, who's listening?